Hello everybody, welcome to my Canada and Alaska vlog. I had to say goodbye to the pups and we first arrived in Vancouver and this airport was crazy. It felt like its own little museum.
Do you have a service?
Yeah. Before getting on our cruise, I decided to go thrifting and I ended up finding a super cool necklace that I'm going to bring to my Europe trip. And thrifting here was pretty fun. Kind of expensive, but it was fun. And then getting onto our ship after wandering around Vancouver, we had to wait 4 hours in line because they messed up getting in port on time. But we got there eventually. It wasn't horrible. It was super duper pretty. The city was crazy. I didn't realize how beautiful the architecture was in Vancouver. And this is us finally on the ship. Super cool. And we ended up staying the night and left in the morning. The ship was gorgeous too. It was huge and had so many fun activities to do. Here is me and my family playing some Rummy Cub and us heading to our fancy dinner for the first night. We all got dressed up, super fun, and had a little pre-game with wine in one of my parents' bedrooms and headed to the fancy dinner. This scene, if you know from Parent Trap, I felt like I was reliving that right now with my parents. Getting their pictures taken. Hopefully they don't split. Just kidding. But it was very cute. The dinners were super fancy and fun. You'll see lots of clips of them later in this vlog. And every night we would go to different game nights like trivia or karaoke or just some shows. And our family ended up winning like 6 bottles of champagne because we were so good at the trivia. Not to brag, but it was so fun. Honestly, I think the game nights made the ship experience, the cruise experience, but it was amazing. They had even a little basketball court up on top, and here is my brother hitting me in the head. Let's get a replay on that action. Yeah, it didn't feel too good. This was actually our first day of exploring off of the boat, and we arrived in Ketchikan, which was probably my favorite stop that we went to. It was just super cute and had lots of cool colors, and the shops were adorable. Here is a view of our ship. It is absolutely ginormous, and a little bit more of the town. I got a cute beanie here, and we just kind of explored. We ended up hiking for a long time. You guys will see that coming up. I'm not sure what the name of this hike was, but it was absolutely gorgeous. It reminded me a lot of Oregon, which I didn't realize Alaska was so mossy. We couldn't spend too much time here since we had to get back to the ship at a certain time, but it was still beautiful. Why is it so zoomed? We are currently on a hike. I don't remember. Mom, what's this hike called?
What?
What's the hike called?
Carnala?
Carvana. What is it?
Carlana del Rey.
Carlana del Rey. And we hiked 3 miles up roads to get to the hike, up like a huge side of the highway. And now we made it. It's like a big lake, super pretty, super mossy, like Oregon on steroids, says Kim. There is a cruise. Ours is even past that little one. The little tail of it right there. And we walked all the way up. There's a highway up on this road and about 2.5 miles this way uphill and downhill. And went to that hike. And now we have to walk back. Oh my gosh. Brutal. We then made it back to the ship. After wandering for a little bit more, we were all so exhausted. My feet were killing me, but it ended up being a gorgeous night, gorgeous sunset, and kind of just played around on the boat. We even got to see some cute little dolphins during sunset. It was very magical. Honestly, probably one of the highlights of my trip. Okay, I just got back from exploring Ketchikan and our huge hike. And I just wanted to give a little room tour. Just me and my brother sharing. And we got twin beds. Super simple, but then there's a really pretty view from our balcony. Pretty lit. And then we've got a little bathroom over here. It's pretty nice, pretty nice. And we've got like a little closet that we could hang up all of our stuff. And it was my birthday a couple days ago, so my grandparents decorated the door. Pretty cute, mate. Pretty cute. That's about it. So we then got ready for another fancy dinner night, and I didn't get any footage of the rest of this night. So you will next see us in Juneau. And this is our tour guide taking us. His name was Frank. He was super cool. He was taking us to a glacier, the Mendenhall Lake, I think is what it was. So cool. It was absolutely gorgeous. I wish we could have gotten so much closer, but that's pretty dangerous. The waterfall was very impressive, and it was pretty chilly this day. We didn't end up exploring a lot of Juneau's town just because there wasn't much to do, and we had to get back pretty early. So this is us on the bus back to the ship, where we ended up getting ready for dinner, and it was my dad's birthday dinner.
Sing happy birthday for Kevin, okay? We have to celebrate, okay? Right. And a count of 3, 1, 2, and 3.
Happy birthday! It was so fun to be able to celebrate all together, and our server over on the right, his name was Edsel, and he was amazing. He honestly made every dinner so spectacular and fun, and he was just so funny. Happy birthday to you! Yay!
Right, open bar!
And in the morning, we ended up in Skagway, and this town was so cute, very colorful, and just very lively with lots of fun people, including this super cute dog.
License and registration, sir. All right, you're good to go.
We ended up going on another hike to a waterfall, and it ended up leading us to the cemetery, and a lot of people said that there was a bear around here earlier, which I could have seen. You'll see the cave that he was supposedly in. Oh, that would have been so cool to see, but also pretty scary. It was pretty fun, and we just headed back to the ship. I was pretty tired this day, and I was glad to just go back to the ship and take a nap and get some lovely dinner. And me and my brother, after dinner, had a second dinner of pizza with a beautiful view on the way to Sitka. And this is that beautiful view where the water is just super glassy and gorgeous, with another view of Blades of Glory. This next morning we arrived in Sitka, and honestly I think it was the least cutesy town out of all of the ones that we stopped at, but the nature of this town was absolutely beautiful. The mountains were so impressive, and we ended up hiking to a national forest and saw lots of beautiful moss, and we went like tide pooling a little bit. It was gorgeous. This next clip is of the town, and my dad got a reindeer hot dog while we were here. Kind of disgusting, but it was pretty bumping. There was quite a bit of people. After exploring Sitka's National Historic Park, that concluded our day in Sitka, and we headed back. And heading back to the ship, we had another fancy dinner, and if there was an opportunity to get the creme brulee, I would jump on it. That stuff was so delicious. I couldn't get enough. The next 2 days were spent at sea, heading back to Vancouver, and one night it was super duper stormy, about like 6-foot waves, and you can't really tell in the video, but the pools were going crazy with the waves. There was an indoor pool, and these kids had life jackets on just playing in it. It was so fun to watch. And I cannot stress enough how amazing the crew of this ship was. Everyone made it so fun. This was Christoph, the head shipman, not the captain, but he was in charge of entertainment. He was just so fun, and I loved hanging out with all of them. We even had a little airplane competition, and there was even a night with Deal or No Deal. It was just endless entertainment back to back, which was so fun. Here is a little clip of the crazy waves that were outside of the ship. Nothing insane, but you definitely couldn't walk straight. So we just spent the whole time in the ship because it was super chilly that day, playing games and just doing all the activities. Me and my brother ended up doing an egg dropping competition where we tied my hair ties around some straws and had dropped it off the balcony. It did not end well. My hair ties had a lot of egg that I had to clean off of it, which was fine. And we ended up getting ready for another fancy dinner because there was nothing better to do because it was super chilly outside. And this night we had a gala dinner, and I just love this environment. Being here was so fun. This is my first time that I actually tried lobster, and I didn't hate it. Not my favorite, but I probably would get it again. But the crew of the ship just made everything so delightful and fun, and there was never-ending entertainment for us, like I said earlier. Lots and lots of game nights and just getting to explore. The next day was absolutely beautiful. We were outside the whole day. We played some mini golf, and it was just perfect. It was super sunny. I ended up getting really sunburnt, but it was worth it to be able to be outside. It seemed like the whole ship was outside just enjoying the sunlight and taking in the heat. And there was even a little bocce ball competition. And this is me trying to chug some champagne, and it ended up going all up my nose and not a little bit made it into my mouth. But my family sure thought it was hilarious to see that happen. And this is us heading to our fancy dinner. There's that creme brulee again. And this was the last night. So let's give them a cheer! Spun our napkins around. It was super fun and just made me laugh. It reminded me of the scene in Polar Express with the hot chocolate a little bit. And here we are the next day, arriving back in Canada, in Vancouver. The city line was super cool to see and pull up on. And then we just port next. And this is us getting our last breakfast of the trip. And we ended up having to hop in line and wait to leave the ship and get back onto shore. It was pretty quick, not the 4-hour wait, and we ended up just exploring Vancouver a little bit. We went to a super beautiful park, which was honestly one of the highlights of my trip. It just had a cool suspension bridge. Not suspension bridge. What is it? I don't know. But it was absolutely gorgeous, and I just felt like I could spend my whole day in this park. I felt so at peace. And there was so many people playing in the water. It was just such a beautiful scene to see. My brother ended up jumping in, and he said it was like top 3 coldest waters he's ever been in. And we do polar plunges every year, so I did not partake, sadly. But this park, oh my gosh, I'm just speechless. It was absolutely gorgeous. I wanted to be here forever and ever. After spending some time in Vancouver, we made our way to the airport, hopped on our flight, and headed back to Utah. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and have an amazing rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. I love you guys. Goodbye.